Hi there and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to go over the 3 simple steps to generating 10 times more local leads for your local business. This is pretty much the same information that's going to be located in the ebook listed below the video. However, I will explain things a little bit more in detail and probably give you a few extra pointers throughout this video. So I'll try to keep it short, just follow along, and I'm sure you're going to get some valuable information. So who I am is, my name is Jason Lee. I am the marketing director for Extreme Vision Now. We are an internet marketing and web design company that focuses on helping local businesses to generate more leads. I'm personally myself, I've got over 15 years of highly successful local business marketing experience, worked as business development managers for multiple companies, have been in the internet industry for over 8 years. I've got college degrees in both marketing sales, memberships to marketing associations, literally dozens of certificates in everything for online marketing. So I can guarantee you that I'm basically a high-level expert, and I'm very valuable as far as information that's on this topic. I'm not just somebody throwing out some, random quotes or something like that. So basically what you're going to get here is something very valuable that can help your company. And it is all free, so that's even better. Let's walk through this now. So here's the big question that I ask most companies is, do you want to generate 10 times more leads for your local business? Well, if the answer is yes, then I've got some great news for you, because this is absolutely possible for almost every local business out there. Now, the reason why most people aren't generating that amount of leads currently is because they're probably missing elements in these 3 simple steps that I'm going to go over in this video. So this video is, I'm going to talk about the secrets, the actual things that produce the 10 times more results for your local leads. I'll walk through basically what you need to know and what you need to do. And then I'll also give you some options at the end of the video on how we can help. So if you are interested in working with an expert to speed up your process and just give you tremendous amount more results, then that's great. If not, I do still guarantee that this information will be helpful. So let's get moving right along. All right, so step 1. This is probably one of the most overlooked steps that I've seen out of probably about 99% of local businesses that I've spoken to, and it's basically focused on your website. So step 1 is making your website highly effective at converting visitors to leads. So in these 5 steps here, this is how we're going to do this, how we're going to convert visitors to leads. We're going to work on marketing copyright, which I'll explain all of these in depth here in a little bit. We're going to work on awesome content. We're going to have some awesome headlines. We're going to have great calls to action, and we're going to actually have some advanced lead capture systems. So let's go through each of these one by one. So the first one is marketing copyright. Now, if you haven't heard of marketing copyright before, basically what marketing copyright is it's the way that you write your content to specifically call out to the different types of visitors, and you speaking directly to their wants, their needs, and their frustrations. This is a marketing thing, and this is super valuable and very important. Now, one thing that I like to tell every company that basically I'm working with is that you have to understand that your visitors that are coming to your website, not everybody is at the same buying stage or the buying cycle when they actually visit your site. Now, some people may be just searching in the beginning of the buying stage, where they are just looking for information and they're trying to gather their information. Some people may be in the middle part where they're actually comparing companies. So they're going there to compare your company to other companies. And some people may already be sold and they're just looking for a service provider. And so they're basically just searching out for that. So you have to have options for all 3 or all the different types of people in those different stages of the cycle. Now, like I mentioned here with copyright, you also need to speak to their needs, their wants, and their frustrations. Now, this really goes into knowing your customers very, very well. Now, as a professional marketer, what my job is generally when I get hired on by a company, is that's one of the first things that I'll do is I'll go through and I'll research out their types of customers, finding out what their needs are, finding out what specific things will call out to them. This is really important. Not all companies know this kind of stuff, and it does take a little bit of work to kind of do, but what we do normally is kind of build these buyer personas or buyer profiles where we can now, basically figure out what types of customers are going to be good for your business. All right, so moving on, awesome content. Now, this is hugely important, and this is definitely not something that you want to miss in any way. You want to make sure that you give your customers or your visitors to your website very valuable information. People are very tired of worthless content that basically doesn't answer their questions and doesn't teach them something that they want to know. So if you beat around the bush and if you have just general content on your website, then people are going to leave almost immediately off of the site. Now, another thing about the content is that you can provide that valuable content, and during that process you're going to establish yourself as an expert. Now, this is super important. You can actually do this through your content by showing them and conveying to them the information that they need. But what is very valuable to know, or a very important key, is that you do not want to talk over people's head like a doctor would generally, using big words or terms that they can't understand. That actually pisses people off, and I've been in this industry long enough to I can immediately, reading through a website, I can pick out things and say you are losing a ton of customers because of how you've worded these things and how you're speaking. So it's very important to write, professionally, showing your expertise, but making sure you convey that information in an easy way that they can understand. You also always want to make sure that you provide the content in an easy way, and you don't beat around the bush. So just give them what they need to know, put it in a concise, clear way. If you can't do that, then add a video, add a photo, a link to another page, or even just ask them to give you a call for a consultation so you can explain more in depth. All right, now headlines. Headlines are vitally important because what headlines do is they grab people's attention. Just like in this video where I promise, to get 10 times more leads in 3 simple steps. This is calling out to, personally, probably your needs or wants. You want to get more leads, and you also want to make sure that it's simple because marketing can be very frustrating and be very complicated. So that's the same thing you want to do for your customers. You want to make sure that you call out to them with your headlines, give them a big promise, give them something that's important, answer a question or something in those headlines that very specifically grabs their attention. Now, one of the things I do want to mention in this part here is do not boast about your company too much. To be honest, people really don't care about you or your company beyond the point of just evaluating to see whether or not you're professional, and you can fulfill their needs. So that's kind of something you can skip over pretty quick. And like I mentioned, you do want to give them a big promise. So if you are, let's say if you're in the kitchen industry and you sell kitchens, and your customers are obviously looking for a new kitchen, then don't just promise them that you can give them a new kitchen. Tell them that you can give them their dream kitchen at an incredible price. That grabs their attention much greater than just get a brand new kitchen. So, all right, the next one are calls to action. Now, calls to action are very important, and most people don't understand how this actually works. With a call to action, what that is you're actually trying to convince people to take some sort of action. Now, there's many different actions that they can take. Maybe they end up calling your phone number. Maybe they end up filling out a lead capture form on your website. Maybe they end up reading some information, clicking on a link. So there's many different calls to actions that we can put on the site, and we want to be very specific on what we want them to do. Now, a couple little tricks of the trade here is sometimes people need to be motivated to take a call to action. You can just tell them, call this number or fill out this form, and some people might do that. Other people might need a little bit of encouragement. Maybe you add in some scarcity. Now, scarcity is where you give them some sort of limited time, limited supplies, or a price is going to increase, a deal is ending soon, those kind of things. People psychologically are going to be pulled to take action because of that. So those are important things that you want to add to the site. You also want to give them different options. Not everybody, like I said, that's coming to your website is looking to make a purchase today, so they may not be interested in calling your company. However, they may be in the information collecting stage, so they may want to get some information on how the countertop process works if you're a granite countertop company, what you do if you're a cleaning company, like those kind of things. So you want to provide other options for them, but still make them take some sort of action. Ultimately, what we're going to do here with taking action is the next step, which we want to do some lead capture systems. Now, visitors that come to your website, all they are is visitors, and they can come and go and you never even know anything about it, and then you basically lose your opportunity to ever convert them to a client. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that you have a lot of lead capture systems on your website. That way you can capture those visitors who come and continue to market to them and hopefully convert them to a customer someday. So like I mentioned before, you can have phone calls, emails, contact forms, newsletters, signups, coupons, social media likes. Those are just a few. And this is actually one of the really big tricks of the trade that we work on with our clients is we have some advanced lead capture systems that basically bypass what most people think of as a lead capture if they're afraid of giving information or those kind of things. And it actually gets a lot more potential leads that we can continue to market to and convert to more clients. All right, so let's go on to step 2. So step 2 is getting your website and your business ranked #1 in the local search engines. So this is vitally important. Let's go over the 4 main parts and then we'll go in depth on each part. You want to get your business found online and literally everywhere online. You want to have search engine optimization. I'll explain that. This is a very big one here. You want to keep adding content and engaging with your potential customers. And then you want to keep your rankings at that #1 position. So let's go through each one of these. Now the first thing is, what does it actually mean to be ranked #1? Because a lot of companies do not understand this, and they don't understand the difference between just being ranked to #1 and having a local search ranking of #1. So here's kind of a basic page of Google. This is one of the search engines here. We have 2 different sections here. We have a section that's called paid ads, which is up here and also to the side. This is what advertisers actually pay per click to be in that location. And then we have a section called organic ads, or these are the organic search results. Now it's very vital for you to know, and if you do not know this, this is probably one of the massive pieces of information that you need to take away from this presentation, is that only 6% of traffic actually goes to these spots here. 94% of traffic goes to the organic search results, and it's almost 90-something% is just on page 1 of Google. So very few searchers actually go past page 1. But it's way more valuable for your company to be listed in these spots here than to be listed in these spots up here. And the reason why is because we're all smart and we understand that these ads are paid ads, and we've been using Google, as a population for a long time. So not all of these ads are actually relevant to what we're looking for. We generally know that these ads are much more relevant. So these actually produce a ton more clicks. If you look over here just at this little graph, these are the actual rankings by Google. This is what their official reports tell us, is that over 42% of all search traffic goes just to this #1 spot. So if your company, let's say you're a granite countertop company, and somebody types in granite countertops Boston in this location, then over 42% of people who are searching for that are going to click on this #1 spot. That could be a lot of traffic if you're in a high populated area. The example with the Boston one, I've got a client that's in the granite countertop industry up there near Boston. There's literally over 10,000 searches per month just for the top keywords in their field. That's just a dozen or so keywords. There's about 30,000 searches per month related to granite countertops per month. So if they're ranked for those keywords in that #1 position, they're going to get a lot of traffic. 42% of even 10,000 is a lot of traffic going to that position. But you got to understand how this actually works too with the keywords, because it's not one keyword you're going to get all of that. There are literally hundreds of keywords for that client. In fact, there's about 800 keywords, and there's only about 30 keywords that are the top keywords. All right. So here's the other thing that you need to understand. Now I mentioned about being ranked locally. So when you type in a company's name in the actual search results here, a lot of companies will search their own business and they'll say, hey, look, I can be found on Google. Well, that's great, and that is a very big priority. Your company should be found on Google, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be gaining search traffic. Now, when you search for your own company, then you're going to come up in these search results. But all of these things do need to be optimized, and you can optimize all of these different parts for keywords as well. So not just necessarily your name. In this example, we have Billy's Bakery for New York, and so their website comes up number one. Here's the website. Now here are the local listings that gives them information, gives the searcher information. These are Google local listings. These are the local reviews, such as Yelp, TripAdvisor, Facebook, even Urban Spoon, all these kind of things. So you've got your social media reviews, social media pages, and then even media coverage down here. Now the trick is that when you actually go into keywords, so keywords are a bit different. Now keywords aren't going to show up the exact same way. So keywords are like here, we've got San Diego air conditioning repair. This comes up with the local results here. These are the local map results. And this is a separate area that you're going to be optimizing your company on. So you need to optimize for SEO, which is going to put you in those organic rankings. You need to optimize for local SEO, such as the maps, which would be putting you in these areas. Then you need to optimize for all of those other options that I just showed you as far as review sites, social media sites, and all those things. That's going to put you basically at the top of the maps everywhere, and you're going to have a lot of more customers who are actually going to come up and finding your business. Okay, so this brings us to our first point then, which I mentioned about getting your business found online and getting it found everywhere. A lot of businesses do not understand this. I talk to a lot of local companies every single day, and I get a common response is that they say, well, I have a website and I can find my business online. Well, that's great, but just look at this example here. Let's say think of your website as an actual business location. If you just have a business location that is somewhere, I'm sure somebody could find you in the yellow pages or find you, in some way, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting traffic. All the different methods online are what actually bring people to your business. So this is a good representation of how this works. So let's say this here is your website. How you're going to get people to come to your website are through these different traffic sources. We have search engines such as Google, Yahoo, Bing, AOL, etc., etc. We have directory sites. There's a lot of directory sites. In fact, most local markets generally have around 300 popular sites just on there. We have different kinds of sites and blogs. We have content sites, we have review sites, we have social media, location-based services, we have deal sites, and the list goes on. So, I mean, there are literally thousands of different websites that your company can be listed on and be generating traffic from online. And that includes industry and related websites as well. All right, so here's one of the big parts of this subject. Search engine optimization, also known as SEO. So you've probably heard of SEO or search engine optimization before, and it gets thrown around a lot and it's very confusing. So let me kind of briefly explain how search engine optimization works and what the purpose of it is. So search engine optimization is basically, it's about manipulating the search engine computers to being able to rank your website higher on the search engines. So just how I showed you on that Google page, that number one position gets 42% of the traffic. So getting your website up to that number one position is basically the goal, and how we're going to do that is going to be all the different strategies that are involved. So that involves stuff like keyword research, building links, doing the sitemap optimizations, doing the software development, the web design has to be SEO friendly. You have to have a strategy of social networks that give signals. You have to have quality content. You have to build the rankings, all kinds of things like that. Now, what I like to do is simplify this into two different sections. We have what we call on-page or on your website, and then we have off-page or off your website tactics. Now, the on-page tactics are everything that has to deal with your coding and the specific layout design, those kind of things on your actual website. Now these are very specific. These are coding things. Some of these things probably won't mean anything to you, like title tags, H1, H2, H3, H6, keyword density, LSI keywords, images, videos, outbound links, inbound links, HTML errors. I mean, there are literally hundreds of factors that just go on your website. This is kind of the starting point for your company though. Your website needs to be done correctly, and it needs to have optimized code that that basically talks well with the search engines. If it is not done well and if it is not SEO optimized, then number one, you won't rank, but it'll greatly hurt all of your efforts that you do for anything you do off page. Now, without doing the on page, off page does not work well. And without doing off page, on page is almost useless. I mean, it does help, but you do need to do this if you really want to rank, and especially if it's a competitive industry. Now, what off page is now these are the things that pretty much everybody's heard about when they say backlinks. They think, oh, okay, I need backlinks for my website. Well, that's great. That is true. But there's many different types of backlinks and there's many different qualities of backlinks. So you have things like local citations or local directory sites. You have social media signals. You have industry backlinks, related backlinks, article backlinks, video backlinks, press releases, and the list just keeps going on and on. Think of these as kind of like votes. If you were running for an election and only one person can be president, then the more votes you get from a state, the better. But not all states have equal number of votes. So some of them are going to have a lot greater votes than another one. In the backlinks world, one backlink from a very high quality related website could be worth 1,000 votes compared to a low quality one, which you'd need 1,000 of those just to equal one quality one. So this is very specific. You have to be very careful as well because Google has a computer algorithm that analyzes your website rankings and basically how to put you in there, but it also analyzes people who are cheating the system. Now, it's kind of an irony because an SEO person's job is to get the website ranked, but Google doesn't want you to do that. They want it to be all natural. Well, it doesn't make any sense at all. Every company out there who's a major company, they have a professional SEO person or an entire department that works on these ranking things. Now, some things are very dangerous to do, and if you do those even one little thing wrong, then Google will just straight up penalize your website and you'll get deranked from the search engines. So you can't even find your website in the search engines. That's really bad. It's called a Google penalty. I've seen a lot of business owners who've gotten Google penalties because they've read something online about SEO. They've tried it themselves and then they've messed it up. Now the reason why is because SEO is constantly changing. Last year, the techniques that they were doing last year, this year are banned and can get you in trouble with Google. So you have to be very up to date, and it changes every couple months. So that's why this field is constantly growing and changing because of the competition and the changing that is happening from Google. All right, so now adding adding content and engaging clients. This is super important as far as an SEO as well. Because Google, like I said, they analyze with a computer program to determine your rankings. So the more customers that you engage with and the more content that you put on your website, that's the better signals that Google is going to see that you're a live company, that you're working, that you're providing content, and that your customers are actually liking, what you're providing. This is one of the what we call social signals. So everything you add to your website, here's a couple keys that you need to know. It needs to be SEO optimized and keyword focused. It needs to be quality content and provide helpful information. It needs to engage with your customers on social media. It needs to, and you also need to always ask for positive reviews and respond to every single review you get, even if it's a negative one. So that's kind of a little bit self-explanatory, but you do need to have a strategy for that. It's not something you can do just randomly. It's best to have a strategy that you continuously work on. All right, so let's move on to the next one. So after you do all of those things with adding content and getting your content SEO optimized, doing your on-page, your off-page, all of that work will eventually get you to the #1 position if you do it correctly and you know what you're doing. Once you do get up to those #1 positions, if it's the #1 in the local or if it's the #1 in organic, basically after you get to that point, you need to stay in that #1 position. I've actually seen companies make huge mistakes on this where they've gotten to a #1 position and then they've just stopped everything they've done because they think that, okay, I'm in the #1 position. And then literally days later or weeks later, they are not even found on page 1 and they can't explain why they're not getting any more leads or calls. Think of this as like a race. You're not done with the race when you get to that #1 position. You're just in first place. And if you want to keep your first place, your first place in the race, then you need to keep on doing the things that you're doing that got you there. So you need to have a plan that you're working and that you're doing on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and a monthly basis. And that's very important to maintain. This field is continuously getting more competitive, so there's more companies coming on and trying to get ranked for those number one positions because they see how valuable it is. And so if you can get out ahead of your competitors, then you want to stay there for as long as you possibly can. All right, so now here's step 3. This is kind of brings everything together. We've got our awesome website now that highly converts. We've got SEO optimization, which is going to get you just a ton of leads, but it does take a long time to do all that work. Now we want to basically add in another part to the mix, which is lead generate. Now lead generating is basically getting clients a lot faster. It's a system of paying to get leads. Now there's a couple different ways that we do this. We do this through social media. Social media is highly effective, and if you're not currently doing social media correctly, then you need to be, because this is very cost effective and highly effective. Pay-per-click is another one that's been around for a very long time. This is Google AdWords and such like that. It is very expensive, and if you have done it or you are doing it now, then you know that it does cost a lot, but you do get results very fast. It's like a light switch. You can turn it on and get things to happen. But here's the big kicker. The number 3 part is that you need to test, track, and constantly monitor everything you're doing when you're doing these kind of things. And this is about making sure that you provide the highest return on investment for your company. So let's go through each one of these. Now, like I mentioned, social media advertising is highly effective. One of the reasons why it's so effective is that you can target your potential customers through those ads on social media, very, very targeted. Facebook has a great system that allows you to do that. Google AdWords is not so much. It's kind of a different system. So that's why social media is more effective than I believe what Google AdWords is, because you can target the actual people that would be looking for your results, for your company. This is very scientific too. Don't think that you're just going to figure it out by reading a couple articles. If you do try to do this yourself, I would really do my research and make sure you have a good marketing system set up so you're not just wasting money. Focus on quality, on everything that you do with this. And keep in mind that while you are doing a paid system, there are other ways that you can also get leads by growing out your social media accounts and getting free leads through that as well. So, generally that's what we do with clients. We do both. We'll grow out their social media accounts so they get free leads, and then we'll also do paid ones as well, so then they get the faster results. Now the next one is the pay-per-click advertising that I mentioned with Google AdWords. You can see here on the Google results, this is where you pay per click. This is a paid per click advertising. So your costs are basically always going to stay pretty similar, except as competition goes up. As competition goes up, those pay-per-click will increase. Some markets it'll be $2, $3, $4, maybe $5 per click. Some industries could be $25, $30 per click. And that is not giving you a customer, that's just giving you a visitor to your website. So you can see that the cost can go up very, very highly, very quick. If you get 100, 1,000 clicks, if your website isn't converting people, then you're basically going to be losing a ton of money. So this is very important to make sure your website is very, very, very high effective at converting leads before you even start doing something like this. It is very complicated, I do have to say. I do recommend that everybody hires a AdWords specialist or somebody like that. I've seen companies do this themselves. You can get some results from it, but you're going to be paying a lot more money. If you want to focus on return on investment, then I recommend hiring a professional. You're going to get way more return on investment, and it's going to be way more valuable for your company just to hire somebody than to try to do it yourself and be wasting money. So I always recommend that. The second thing is that you always do want to be targeted and very specific on your AdWords campaigns. And this really comes into a big dilemma that I've seen with a lot of companies is you don't ever really want to listen to Google for their free help. Some companies will sign up, or they'll have even their marketing, they'll hire somebody to sign up, or to do their AdWords campaign for them, and then Google will call you on the phone and ask, hey, do you want some free help on making your campaign more effective? In reality, Google does not want your campaign being more effective. because they don't get paid with you being more effective. They get paid with you getting more clicks. So they want you to get 1,000 clicks and only 10 customers, opposed to getting 100 clicks and getting 10 customers. So that's something to keep in mind. I've seen a lot of people go into some trouble with that because of trusting Google. They'll just make these humongous campaigns with they're spending thousands of dollars targeting all kinds of keywords, and it actually affects their rankings and their click-through rate, really, really bad. So that's just a little bit of advice on that side. All right, so here's the last part of it, which really pulls all of this section together. You always want to test, track, and constantly monitor everything you do, or you're basically just going to be wasting a ton of money. This is where a marketing professional really pays off. If you don't hire somebody outside your company, like an expert like myself, you do want to have somebody full-time in your company that is constantly monitoring these things on a daily basis, because things change all the time. Not everything is effective as something else. So you want to test and track and basically find out what are the most effective headlines, what are the most effective images, what calls to action are actually getting people to sign up, what colors on the page look good. I literally tell everybody you need to test everything. Everything you do, even a little change, can have a huge impact on the amount of results you get for it. And that's pretty much a marketing professional's job, is to make sure you're getting high return on investment. Okay, so let's move on here to the end of this. So I went over the 3 simple steps to generating 10 times more local leads. It's basically these 3 simple steps that a lot of companies really miss out on. The reason why is because they're not as easy as what they look. So step 1 was making your website highly effective at converting visitors to leads. Step 2 was getting your website ranked number 1 in the search engines. And then step 3 is lead generating to get faster results. So I did say they were simple, but simple is not, and simple and easy are not the same things. So while they do look simple, just do these 3 different parts, each one of those parts has a very complicated process that needs to be done, and it needs to be done correctly. And that's kind of the big problem with this industry. Because to do those, all of those things are very technical. They need to be done by a highly skilled person. They're very time consuming. Doing it yourself could get you a Google penalty, which could cost your business a lot more money. And it can be very expensive to hire out if you don't hire out to the right company. Here's where we do offer a solution, and we are completely different than most internet marketing companies out there, because what we offer is an exclusive program that is an internet marketing partnership. How this works is basically we actually partner with your business. We give you everything that you need to be extremely successful online and help you generate a ton of leads. And how we partner with you is we actually take responsibility. So we actually guarantee you that you will get more leads. And I'm personally not aware of any other company in the industry that will actually do this. So how it kind of works is it's pretty easy. How it works is that you pay a monthly fee based on the types of services that you want us to do for your company and how many leads that you basically want. We handle everything. From just a few things like SEO, website management, optimization, to doing everything including lead generation. And then basically you just get leads that you can convert to customers. So it's a pretty simple process. It's very easy. Now, the guaranteed leads thing, like I said, we're the only company that I know of that does this. And I've heard a lot of companies complain about SEO because they've hired a company and they haven't gotten any more sales or any more leads and they can't figure out why. Well, the reason is they didn't hire a good company that actually focuses on lead generation. You have to have all 3 parts of the puzzle basically put together to be able to get the maximum amount of results. Even if you just do SEO, you still have to do the website side with having it highly effective at converting, or you're just not going to get any more leads. So they may be doing their job as doing an SEO, but they're not doing their job at helping you get more clients. So this is where we really make a big difference with our guaranteed leads program. Now, there is a catch, so I'm sorry to disappoint you, but basically what the catch is that we actually only work with one local business per industry, per area. So if we are currently working with a business in your location that is in the same industry as you, we are not going to be able to help you out with this. Now the reason why is it's pretty simple, is that most clients that we work with, they see the value of search engine optimization. So that's kind of one of our number one strategies. It has the highest return on investment. And once we do work with one of those companies, there can be only one number one company. So it kind of is would not be fair to us or our clients if we were trying to compete against ourselves with two different companies to get to that number one spot. So we won't do that. We're very ethical, and so we're not going to to take on multiple companies in the same industry. Generally, if it's a big city, it's within a 10-mile radius. And if it's in a smaller city or outside of a city, it's about a 25-mile radius. Now, if you offer different services, that would be fine. But if it's the same services, same industry, I'm sorry, but we just can't help your business on that one. So like I said, there can be only number one for, per keyword. Okay. And there is no exceptions to that rule. I've been asked this many times by other companies and stuff like that. We don't make exceptions as far as that goes. Okay, so we are looking for partners now. If you've been contacted with us, then most likely we've contacted your competitors as well. We're doing a lot of marketing currently. We also do not work with all companies out there. This is something that's important. I do want you to kind of understand. The same as how you would be interviewing a company to see if they can do the work for you. We also interview companies as well to see if they're companies we want to work with. What we're looking for in companies is we're looking for companies that understand the value of marketing as an investment, companies that are serious about getting a ton more leads and can handle that kind of growth. We're looking for long-term partners and long-term growth with companies. So if you are interested or even think you might be interested, please don't wait, because once we do get one company in your area, then we just shut it off and we can't help you anymore. So we are looking for good companies. If this is something you're interested in, then let's move on to the next step and we can see if we can work together. So what's the next step? It's basically to request a free consultation and a website analysis of your current website. What we do with our free consultation is we'll actually call you first. We'll kind of go over a couple of questions, find out what you're trying to do, kind of what your ultimate goals are and everything like that. And then it'll take us a couple days. We'll work on producing some reports. We will give you a detailed analysis of your current website, what you've done correctly or what can be improved as far as on the lead conversion, all of that kind of information. Also with online or on-site SEO. We'll review your current local internet marketing strategy. We'll give you a detailed report of your current rankings in Google, Yahoo, or Bing. And we'll also show you exactly what we do and how we do it to get you results. We really do not hold back anything on this section. A lot of companies will just say, well, this is our secret. This is, we don't want to tell our clients. I tell our clients exactly what we do. So that way they know we are the best out there in this industry, and this is how we get our clients so many results. I'm not afraid of clients seeing what we do and then trying to do it themselves, because this is very technical. So I just give all the information right up front. This is how we do it. This is how we're going to do it for you, and this is why you're going to get results from this process. Okay. So what we do is so unique and it has such a high value. I can pretty much guarantee there's no better way for your business to get more leads if you're interested in getting more leads. We offer just an incredible value. We do not charge as much as some of the really big popular companies out there, and we actually produce just a ton more leads than what they do. So if you're interested, click on the link below and book a phone consultation. And we will give you a contact and we'll start the initial process. It's completely free. It's confidential. There's no obligation whatsoever. So do not worry if you do sign up and you talk to us and you decide, hey, you know what? We just don't have the budget for this, or we don't have the time, or we're not looking to do this at the moment. That's fine. Even if it doesn't work out, where we already have a company in your industry, there might be some other options that we can help you with. So there's no free, it's completely free, and there's no risk or no obligation to it. So just sign up below, and we will look forward to hearing from you. Hope to hear from you soon. Bye.